in the big Bilge Tank. We'll keep you in the know in the big Bilge Tank. We'll fix your techie woes and we'll break and come. We'll make things till we're all together raking, and we'll raise a cup of grog down in the big Bilge Tank. In the big Bilge Tank, come and join our pirate crew in the big Bilge Tank.
We will show you what to do.
And we'll hack it till we crack it, and we'll tell the world about it and forget to tidy up. That's why it's now a Bilge Tank.
Hello and welcome to episode 052 of the Bilge Tank from Sheffield-on-Sea.
Hello.
We have a special guest today who's Digital Girl of the Year 2015? 13. Okay, there you go. This is Amy Mather, who's been in the Pi community for pretty much since it started.
Yeah.
Doing projects, doing talks, and did you go to like a TED event or Wired event or something?
Yeah.
There was some big London event.
Oh, it was We Day at Wembley Stadium.
Wow. There you go. So she'll have no trouble on the Bilge Tank, we're sure. And she's come in, you've been working here for a couple of days this week to help us out with some stuff, and we're going to look at a project you've been working on, which is going to be a write-up on the learning portal.
Yep.
Yeah? This is like our first wearables project, I guess.
Yep.
So
it's going to be a mega tutorial.
it's very, very cool. Amy came up with this completely and we just stole it shamelessly and said, hey, we put this on our learning
Borrowed,
portal.
I think is the
borrowed
term. Yeah.
is the term our lawyers would prefer to use. So we're going to talk you through it today, and yeah, we'll have a look. What is it?
Dinosaur hoodies.
Will we kind of like save it for 5 minutes and look at the, because we've only got
You
2
just want
links
cat
this week,
feeder,
haven't
right?
we?
Don't you? You just want the cat feeder.
Yeah.
All right.
To be honest, yeah.
Fine. We'll
yeah.
go cat feeder.
Yeah. So this is a guy called, I'm not exactly sure what his first name is, but JT Collin. Oh no, this is Andy Alsop, I think.
Mm-hmm.
JT Collins is the other one.
You're in the way.
So this was a post on our forums, kind of documenting the construction of an automated cat feeder, and it's we've put the link in the YouTube description, but it's a really great forum post actually, because he kind of breaks down all of the process that went into developing this, and I think he's using an Adafruit Huzzah.
Oh, right, for the kind of wireless control.
Yeah, for wireless control of it.
Wow.
And I think that's an IKEA stool, is it, that he's used?
Yeah,
I think it's an IKEA stool, but it says the whole thing's great and it's really well written up, and
Should we have a look at a video?
yeah, go for it, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Love the massive food hopper. Unfortunately, we have no audio from the tablet, so it's a little bit like a silent movie.
I bet the cats figure out some way to get the food out of it before it actually comes out.
That's a pretty cool build.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
it's
the
really-
mechanism for taking the feed
Yeah.
through is pretty sweet.
It's really like, I like how it's like really ghetto, the whole thing.
It's pretty good. So
It's
there was a story in the news recently about some IoT company who does automatic cat food kind of dispensers, but apparently their entire server infrastructure went down and the cats just didn't get fed. So let's hope that doesn't happen to Andy, was it?
yes, Andy, yeah.
Yeah, it's Andy's cat.
Yep.
Very nice.
So then the other one that we had was somebody that's used our moat lights inside their gaming rig
Mm-hmm.
to light the inside of it, and it just looks absolutely amazing.
That is pretty cool.
It's yeah, I mean, I remember doing that kind of thing like how long ago? Like almost 20 years ago, probably. When I kind of built my first kind of gaming PC with like an acrylic side on it so you could see into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time I just had the cold cathodes lights
All right,
lighting
okay,
it.
yeah. Well, some sort of inverter to power them.
Yeah, and it was a real faff to get it all set up, but obviously with Moat you just plug it into the USB and it's like easy to control, easy to hook up. So yeah, I think it's ideal for that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
And someone else was asking on Twitter today about whether
you could do this, basically.
whether you could run Moat sticks inside you know, a kind of high-end gaming PC. And I think you said what was the operating temperature?
The data sheet says max 70 degrees. So obviously you can almost certainly go a bit beyond that, but yeah, as long as you're under 70 degrees, it should be fine.
And it's never going to get that hot inside the case, is it really?
You wouldn't have thought so. Not in like the ambient temperature of the case, no.
Yeah.
So it should be fine. Cool.
Yep. So Dinosaur hoodie
Let's do
time.
wearables.
Yeah. Shall we do the demo first?
Can do, yeah. Or the demo of the product. You'll have to go and turn the LEDs on, Amy.
Yeah.
Right,
Let's
tug
fix it.
the end of it.
It might be that the battery's turned off.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Right, let's hit the lights.
There we go.
Check it out. So it's like a standard hoodie just from Primark
Yeah.
or somewhere, right?
Put it on. Get the full effect of it. So
then you can wear it places. There we go.
That's pretty awesome.
it's very cool.
Is it still working?
It's kind of flickering a little
it's
bit.
flickering.
It's very difficult to get reliable connections with conductive thread, isn't it? But
Yeah, especially after it's been worn for a little while outdoors for several days.
right.
Is it still okay?
Yeah,
you
that's
have to
pretty
do a
impressive.
dinosaur impression as well. Someone's
RAWR.
requesting.
There you go.
Cool.
That's your impression.
As you can tell, I'm a very intimidating dinosaur.
Absolutely.
Oh.
As this is a relatively complicated wearables project, really, isn't it?
Can you bring it over so we can have a look at it? And
Yeah,
just
sure.
to look at the sort of finished product. So can you kind of talk us through what's on it?
Yeah, so at the bottom I'm using a Flora, but for the tutorial I think we're going to be using a Gemma just because it's a little bit easier for starting off.
And this is the kind of Adafruit wearables platform.
Yes.
Right? So their Flora's the big one,
Mm-hmm.
and Gemma's like the little dinky
Gemma
one.
is the little dinky one, so I think here's the size comparison. I don't know if you can see
Oh, yeah,
that.
they're quite different. We've got the close-up camera there as well, which you can use if you want to.
Cool.
I'll get them under the close-up.
But the main point with wearables stuff is it tends to avoid having sharp corners, which is why they tend to be round modules.
Yeah.
And they often have these kind of extended copper pads so that you can stitch through the holes multiple times to get a
Yeah,
decent
so
contact.
that you don't have to solder anything. You just use things like conductive thread because solder joints can tend to be a little bit too brittle if you're wearing things.
Not ideal for flexible stuff.
No.
And they can be quite sharp. You don't really
Yeah.
want through-hole components poking into your garments.
So you can see the stitching here.
There you go.
So
I
this-
suspect quite a common mistake with doing wearable stuff is to just do like a single stitch and run on, but really you need to go over that trace a
Yeah,
few
you
times.
go through a couple of times to make sure that A, it's securely fastened to the jumper, but also B, that you got a good electrical connection.
Mhm.
And you've doubled up the thread, is that correct? Just to make it
Yeah.
a bit thicker and a
So
bit...
to try and reduce resistance, what you can do is you sew with a double thread, and then you also double back on yourself. So once you've gone all the way, you come back again. So then effectively you've got 4 strands running through. So then that will help to make the connections a bit more secure.
Because conductive thread is pretty high resistance, right? I can't remember, is it a few hundred ohms per inch or
I
something?
think it was like 10 ohms per foot or 9 ohms per foot, depending on which one that you
not
used.
as bad as I thought it was actually.
This is the steel one though, so the steel thread, stainless steel thread, has a low resistance, but I think, but it's harder to work with. It's quite wiry,
Right.
and as you're working with it, it tends to get a little bit tangled. So if you're beginning, it's better to kind of use the silver thread, which will oxidize, so it will stop working after a while.
Right.
But it's a lot easier for you to work with, especially if you're quite new to sewing.
Just because it's more flexible.
Yeah, it's a lot more flexible.
this is steel?
And, stainless steel, yeah.
So this is the...
Okay.
So it's
That's the
strands
thread.
of it combined with normal thread, I think.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So this is it here. So you can see it's quite thick. You probably can't get an idea on the
Can we
camera
get
of...
closer up?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's it's fairly thick thread. I think the problem that Amy was having was it was when she was pulling the thread through the material, it was kind of kinking quite a lot and getting stuck in the material. So you had to kind of like pull it back a bit.
You have to kind of put it back. It kind of helps if, as you're going through, if you put your finger through the loop, so you kind of guide the thread through.
Yeah.
So if you keep your fingers here as you pull the thread through, then that can help guide it and stop it from.
You just want to make sure it doesn't interfere with itself, basically, when it's going back
Yeah, and also anytime it does
through.
get
It really wants to
kinked-
just tangle up, doesn't it?
It does. And the
Yeah.
more it tangles up, the more likely it is to the next time you stitch it.
Right.
So if you're using particularly long pieces of thread, which is useful if you're doing like the ground rail or the power rail, because you want to kind of reduce the amount of knots that you're doing, because every knot could be insecure or a loose connection.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes it a lot harder to work with because you've got a longer bit of thread.
So, caveats aplenty.
So these are the Adafruit Flora Neopixels. That's
Yeah,
right,
I
isn't
think
it?
they're called Gemma version 2 Neopixels. And we've just got 9 of those in parallel.
And they're obviously RGB pixels that take a single data line
Yeah.
to plot them. And I suppose the benefit of those with wearables is the fact you only need that one data wire.
Yeah,
As
you
opposed
only
to two
need
clock
one
and
data wire, and you can just kind of loop, like
Because they daisy chain.
Yeah,
you don't
so
need
you
to
have
run
a
back to
daisy
the
chain
host
and
every
you can
single
have
pixel. Yeah.
the thread kind of meander along if you want it to have it in a pattern.
Very good. So I was trying to look up the resistance. About 10 ohms per foot.
Yes.
So it's not terrible actually, but yeah, if you're trying to get a decent amount of current through it, you definitely want to be doubling up the threads a few times.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing lots of pixels, it's best to not use conductive thread, but maybe use something with an even lower resistance. I've tried soldering wires on before for a prom dress that I made, but when I walked, the solder joint snapped.
Right.
So that's not particularly useful. I wanted to do an experiment with some conductive ribbon to see if that would be better.
Right, okay.
Haven't tried it.
How
out
wide's that ribbon?
I think it's about like a centimetre wide.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm not sure that you stock it.
I don't know if we do. I was just having a quick check. No, I have seen it though. I know what you're talking about. It's,
There's also conductive fabrics as well, and conductive
Yes.
Velcro if you want to make your own kind of switches.
Oh, so when the Velcro is closed, you basically
Yeah.
get contact. That's pretty cool.
They
You should
also
certainly get some of that.
They also make, I think Adafruit make it. They have it's like a fabric bit of tape that's got 3 like runs of conductive thread through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously designed for neopixels. So
Oh,
basically you
right.
just
So all your data, ground and
Ex-
power go all through the same thing.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's, and they have a connector as well for the end of it, so you don't have to kind of necessarily stitch it to whatever you're controlling it with.
That's a good idea.
You can actually just like snap a connector on the end of it.
Nice. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Sweet. So should we take a look at the
Yeah, so let's have a look
kind of
at
setup
the,
here and the stitching, how it's done,
Yeah.
and also there's like 3D printed covers that go on the LEDs to help them glow.
Yeah.
so this is so this one's kind of, can we get the close up
We
camera?
can get close.
So this one's kind of in progress, but this is the Gemma, and you can see that Amy's showing the data line there, and that's the ground line, and then obviously there's the positive line that's still to be done, and then these are the actual Flora Neopixels. So basically the ground is connected to that side, and the positive will be connected to that side, and then the data in and data out. And they're just sewn all the way up, right up onto the hood as well. And we've got a total of 9 that are going to be on it.
Yeah, very cool.
And then
But you can see the benefit of like the daisy chaining of the pixels, because you can just run up the spine basically, can't you?
Yeah.
And over the
Yeah.
top, and you don't need to keep
Yeah.
returning signals back or anything.
and when Amy was actually kind of like working out where to place all of the pixels, what we did was we actually got some masking tape and just like stuck a bit of masking tape right down the middle of it, and then marked on the masking tape where each of the neopixels was going to go. And that was quite a nice way. It saves you mucking about with like Taylor's chalk or something like that.
I think the spacing that we went for in the end is about 10 centimetres. So obviously you want to kind of adjust it depending on the size of your hoodie, but most hoodies are the same kind of length. So
Yeah.
between 10 and 11 centimetres seems to work quite well.
Smart.
Yep. So the so do you want to talk about the actual spines and
Yeah.
about how you made them?
So these were designed in SketchUp, which is quite a quirky piece of software, but it's free and I know how to use it. So it was actually a plugin, I think, so you could draw a curve and it would basically put kind of increasingly smaller circles along that curve so that you get a cone. But you could do it with squares and hexagons and things, so that was how I created the shape, because initially I kind of tried it just kind of pointing upwards, but it didn't look right, and also if you fell backwards or if someone ran into you, it looked like it could cause a little bit of damage. So, and then there's also some sewing holes around the bottom.
Yeah, I like the holes around the bottom are really good. Do you want to, well, you can see it on close up there, can't you? But you can really securely kind of fix it onto the hoodie, which I guess this also helps make it a bit waterproof. Not perfectly, but
it helps. It helps, and also if you like fall over, then it protects all your circuitry and stuff.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
it's a bit painful on your back. So the first ones that I printed, they're made from PLA, so they're solid. So they don't have a lot of wiggle room in them. So especially when you get to the last few stitches when attaching them, it can be quite hard to get your needle into the right position. So we've tried something else. We've got some Ninja Flex and we've printed the spines with those, and it's worked out quite well.
That's the white one. I only saw the black one of this before.
Yeah, so G printed 9.
This Ninja Flex stuff is amazing. I'm not a big fan of 3D printing particularly, but when I saw this, I just thought it's incredible. The amount of flexibility in it.
Yeah,
it turns to shape.
It's really tough as well.
It is, yes. It's really, really good.
I don't know if we have any extra ones. Can we try to break one? Just we should probably do that. Just to like.
No need to actually break. Yeah. They're incredibly strong, right?
Yeah, I mean I can't actually break it. It's really
Yeah, before there was little bits of kind of stray filament, and I tried snapping it off, and it just wasn't happening.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite resilient. We've also tried it in a clear PLA, so that can work as well.
Yeah.
So you can obviously see through that one a little bit more, but we can see what they look like in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can actually.
The effect is so much better than just the pixels on their own, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps to diffuse the lights quite nicely, and also it makes you look like a dinosaur.
Well, that's the big benefit right there, right? There you go.
Yeah.
So that's the clear one. So that does look quite cool, but you can't. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you get this kind of like kind of frosty effect.
Yeah.
It's almost like kind of ice effect. Whereas with the Ninja Flex ones, I think it gives you a much kind of more even diffusion.
It's very kind of pure diffusion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Cute. And you get to be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Which is the big benefit.
And also you don't stab yourself when you sit down with it.
Yeah. Or when you lean back. We tried to avoid placing them too close to the bottom of the hoodie so that you're not sat on a spike. But when you kind of lean back in your chair with the solid PLA ones, it could be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think these would give pretty well though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, these ones would be better.
You're going to take these away and use this as your new dinosaur hoodie.
Yeah.
Diffusers. Someone asked about washing.
Okay, well I haven't tried washing mine yet, but the battery's detachable. I think that these are designed to be washable. I haven't actually tested it yet.
I think so long as they were left to dry properly for long enough, I reckon you'd be okay. Maybe not with the Gemma host, I don't know.
Yeah. But if you're worried about the Gemma or the Flora, I've seen a tutorial where you can sew, little kind of button press poppers.
Yes.
If you get metal poppers, then you can solder those onto a Gemma or to a Flora, and then you sew the other half onto the hoodie, and then your Gemma and Flora is interchangeable between projects, and also hopefully makes it a little bit more washable.
I think we may have had those at some point, but I know what you mean. Yeah, they're like press studs, aren't they?
Yeah,
basically?
that's what they're called.
Yeah, cool. And then you can make it so you can just pop the host off.
Yeah.
Stick it in the wash. Away you go.
So, how do you power it?
Okay, so you can either power it via JST or like a phone like a portable phone charger and a micro USB connector. I find the micro USB connector is easier just because when you want to charge the LiPo, sometimes the JST connectors can be quite tough to disconnect, and you don't really want to be pulling too hard on it because you might ruin your stitching and kind of create a dodgy connection, which you do not want because they're really hard to fix.
Plus, LiPo battery cells are quite delicate. You don't really want to put like a soft pack lipo in your pocket in case it gets punctured or bent or something. It wouldn't be good.
You want it to kind of, so I've got a bit more robust battery, which I've been using.
Yeah, we're getting some power banks in stock soon, so I think like in a couple of weeks or so we'll have some USB power banks.
Is that the little cylindrical?
We're going to have cylindrical ones and some slightly bigger ones as well.
And to avoid getting it caught, what you can do is you can cut 2 little holes. So one little hole just below where you've put the floor or the gemma, and another hole in the pocket. So then it's got somewhere to sit in the pocket. So can you see the holes on there?
Can we get the close up on?
Yeah.
So that's the hole inside. So that's inside the pocket. So that's kind of hidden away, and then you basically just stash the battery in the pocket. So that's quite nice. And then I guess there's another.
There's a hole, just below the stick.
So there. So that's where the gemma is.
Excellent.
Sorry, Flora. And then the cable's coming through from the outside to the inside.
We've also I've just designed a thing to go over the top of the gemma to give it a little bit more
that's
protection.
What that was.
So if you place it over the top, and then it's got a little gap so that you can still get the power in and out.
Very nice.
Nice.
And that's Ninja Flex again.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty waterproof, isn't it? Are there any LEDs on board on the gemma? Oh yeah, there's a couple, isn't there? D1 and a power LED.
Yeah.
So you can even use that as like a flashing battery low indicator or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Smart. Very nice. Not on camera. I'm terrible at this. I fall back to do the button pressing bit. I get distracted very easily.
So we're going to try and, I think, get the tutorial finished up like
Soon.
Today, soon, I don't know. Yeah.
The work in progress is on my GitHub at the moment, but yeah.
It's, so it should be like a really thorough tutorial that covers like how to sew.
Yeah, it's got a little introduction to sewing if you've not done much before, or you can just skip down to the electronics part.
So if this is with the gemma, is the software just like the Rainbow Test software, or is it something you've written specifically for the hoodie?
No, I just adapted the strand test to just have the rainbow section because I was in a hurry trying to get it done and make it fair.
Nothing wrong with that. And it looks like, I think like the Gemma starter pack probably has most of these things in, but maybe you'd need more LEDs or something.
Possibly.
What's the cheapest way to get going? How much did this cost?
I cannot remember.
So the actual hoodie was £8 out of Primark, and then it's basically, it's kind of an awkward number of the NeoPixels because to get enough, basically we needed to use 9.
Yeah.
And I think we sell them in packs of 4,
and
so it's actually like 3 packs of the NeoPixels, plus the Flora, plus the conductive thread, plus some needles, but I guess most people have needles already.
Something that can be useful if you've not done much sewing before is the end of the conductive thread tends to fray quite a lot, so it can be useful to have a couple of needle threaders handy. Because that just basically makes it an awful lot easier to get frayed ends through, or just keep a sharp pair of scissors. Is that just something that
guides the thread through the eye of the needle?
Yeah, so basically there's a bit of wire attached to either a piece of metal or some plastic, and when you push it through, then it will flatten basically, so it'll fit through the eye of any needle. But when it comes out through the eye of the needle, then it's like a bigger hole, so it's easier to fit the thread through.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the individual pixels. I don't know if we've got them on there actually. I'll have to check.
I think if you look for Flora,
they
Flora NeoPixels.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the Gemma itself, I was just checking, is £10.50.
Right.
And then, like, if you get the starter kit, you can get the thread and the needles and everything with it. But if you don't need those, you can just go with the Gemma on its own. So it's a pretty cheap little host, isn't it? The Gemma, it's good. Oh, yeah, there you go. They are packs of 4. You're absolutely right, Sandy.
You can also get a packet of 20, so if you want to do 2 hoodies, then you've only got 2 spare.
Share with a friend.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Is it 20 or is it 24? I can't remember.
Oh, I hate this type of Cool. So with the hoodie and everything, you can maybe do the whole thing for about £40. Probably, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
With everything you need if you're kind of clever about it.
And it's quite resilient, and if you've got a good multimeter, then if something goes a bit dodgy, like I need to kind of fix mine up a little bit. But with the multimeter, you can probably find out where the dodgy connection is.
So how would you? I mean, would you just do like continuity testing across each joint and see if you can find like
So
circles
with the data, what you want to do, is this working? It wasn't working before. Yeah, you just want to check that between the 2 data points it's connected, and also that it's not connected across, because you want it to be separate between the data points. And then, with the ground, you want to check that it's going all the way up your face.
Oh, right up to the end of the chain, basically.
Yeah.
So if you can detect it there.
But I can't because I'm not sewn up there.
If you can detect it there. Yeah, is that one?
No,
no,
this
not
one, this one, this
oh,
one.
You haven't finished
So
this study yet. Yeah.
you can check that the ground rail's working, or whichever one. And if the sound isn't continuous, that's probably where it's a bit dodgy.
Right. Okay. So if it's like if the beeping is breaking up,
Yeah.
or you don't get a beep at all, obviously.
Yeah.
And as you essentially, if you just hit each pixel in turn, so test one, test the next one,
so
test the
you
next
can
until you
go
find
along,
faults.
or
Yeah.
if you kind of work from the top, maybe it depends what you want to do. So you can just keep going along, checking that each one.
That's very useful.
Yes.
So it's definitely worth having a cheap multimeter or something like
Yeah.
that. Otherwise, it's going to be quite hard to debug any problems.
Yeah, debugging is quite difficult with conductor thread. Sometimes it might just be that your thread's kind of got looped around a component, so it's making a connection where it shouldn't. Or if you've got loose threads and they're touching or overlapping, that can be an issue. Or maybe your connection to the pad on the PCB isn't quite secure enough.
Yeah.
How tough is this thread? Oh, okay.
That's quite.
No.
That was
Yeah,
quite
it's
a full
fairly,
though,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it? So,
yeah. It's fairly tough.
Yeah.
small.
But I mean, it's not like kind of like wire tough, you know.
No, I guess there's a compromise, right, between the flexibility and the strength.
Me just have
So
cut myself with
cuts
it.
his own finger off line by line.
Yeah, it's quite tough.
Excellent. Cool. And this is one that you'll be making up for the learning article, basically. So it's not finished yet. But
it's not finished. It's a work in progress.
And
Here's one we
gonna be able
nearly made earlier.
Are we going to be able to put the SketchUp file for this up?
Yeah, that's already up on my GitHub.
Wow, excellent.
This one isn't yet, but I will do. But also, there's lots of different ways that you could place them. I think someone was suggesting that you kind of go for like a hedgehog look and put loads of different spines all over the hood.
Yeah.
Or you could try designing your own
Or
spine.
devil ears.
Yeah, little
that'd
devil
be pretty
ones.
Yeah, we got some hats as well.
Yeah.
I think they were like £2 each or something like that. So,
Really?
Yeah, so you could do like a
do
devil.
that with just
Or
the
like
starter
a
kit
helmet.
and the 4 pixels that comes with it, then, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So there's depends.
Like a
Be
little
your own dinosaur. Be creative, people. Very cool. We like it. Look out for that Learning Portal article over the next few days.
Yep.
Smash in. I think that's everything for us today.
I think so. Yes.
They're quite fun to wear. You can do light painting in them.
Yeah. Oh, like low, slow exposure camera
Yeah,
shots.
so if you have, if you set the exposure on your camera to long exposure, so basically it takes a picture over like the course of 10 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And then if you like dance across the shot in the dark, or if you do like cartwheels and things, then you get cool patterns, especially if the colour changes on
Very
the
nice.
hoodie.
That is cool. Right. Don't forget to like
Comment and
Subscribe.
and subscribe to this video. And we will see you next week.
bye.
Bye.